Hello, everyone. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I'm your host, Sergeant Rich Myers from the Indiana State Police Public Information Office. With me today is Sergeant Anthony Emery. He is with the Indiana State Police Recruiting Division. Thanks for coming back.
Hey, always glad to come in, Rich. Enjoy doing it.
It's good to have you in here because we got some good news to spread, and for the people out there, we're going to be taking applications.
Absolutely.
We are taking applications.
Yes. We've got folks that have been calling us and emailing us, inquiring, and we normally run that process about once a year just because of the length of the process itself takes and then the length of the academy right behind it. So, again, we normally run that hiring process about once a year, and it's that time. So, got a lot of folks excited.
Good. That's great to hear. And so we're looking at the mid to end of October.
Yeah, we're looking at probably mid-October, October 15th to October 31st, somewhere in there, that application actually opening, definitely by the end of October.
Okay.
And then it's going to be open until December the 31st, and it'll close usually at 11:59 p.m. on the 31st. And then that selection process is going to kick off right behind that around the first week of January.
If I'm one of these folks that have filled out a pre-app, what should I expect?
On the pre-app, that is a great tool for us to use and for interested applicants to put in there, because what will happen is just as soon as we officially open that application, there will be an email sent out to everyone that's filled out a pre-application, and that email is going to say, hey, we are now accepting the full online application as of this date. We'll provide the link to them and say, click on this link to go to the application, and we will also then provide them the submission deadline dates and any other important dates that are coming up for those folks. So the pre-app's definitely something you'll want to have on file.
And that is something that all the application process is completely done online now. No application through paper. There's no resume taking.
Right.
Everything is done via an email address, and all the testing dates that come here after that are going to be done that way.
Yeah, everything's going to happen fast and furious. You know, back when you and I went through,
Right.
We filled out an application that was pretty thick by hand. We had to go down to the post office and get our picture taken because, no one had instant access to cameras anymore,
Yeah.
like we do now. And then we had to wait for those certified letters to come through the mail, and it was a big waiting game. The process has been cut down from about 7 months is what the process used to take when you and I went through, and it really just as recently as just a few years ago. And we've got that down now to about 90 days on that process running because of technology. That's definitely been a big factor in that. And we also understood that we have to cut that down because a lot of good applicants are going to be putting in applications in a lot of different agencies, and we're basically vying for those applicants against other agencies. So something that took us 6 or 7 months to complete, if another agency beat us to the draw and got it done in 4, they were offering those folks a job and they were snatching those folks up. So we did what we could to try to streamline that process. And again, we've got it down to about 90 days, which we're very proud of that.
An applicant, I know we've gotten this question before, and I want to shoot this out. I don't have a computer at my house. What can you tell me about doing this?
Yeah, we do run into that on occasion, and all we ask is that you have to have some way of receiving an email notification. And we've actually had some folks that go down to their public library, or they're in college,
Yep.
And they use the computer labs at the college. But the public library, any public library has computer set up with internet access, so you can set up just a simple Yahoo or a Gmail account. There's no cost, no expense for that. And then you just have to go back and check that. And we try to give people an idea of when they should be expecting those notifications.
So if somebody's interested, is there a spot that they can go to look at, say, hey, am I even going to be considered? What do I need to know?
Yes, what you want to do is go to the State Police website. And I'll give the website, but I always tell everybody the easiest way is basically to put in Indiana State Police into any search window, because our website is a little lengthy and a little kind of a lot of detail to it. Yeah,
Something
cumbersome.
to remember.
Yeah, so it's www.in.gov/ISP. Again, that's www.in.gov/ISP, or merely just put in Indiana State Police in any search window. Should be the first thing that pops up. Once you're on our homepage, you're going to go to the Career Opportunities tab, which is going to be on the left side of the page. Look for Career Opportunities. Once you click on that, it's going to open up several other tabs. The next one would be the State Trooper tab. Once you open up the State Trooper tab, that opens up that page, and there's a plethora of information once you open up that tab.
Now, if somebody goes through there and they're not exactly sure on some of the questions, do they do their best? If they don't fill it out completely, are they not considered, or how does that work?
The application itself will have to be filled out completely, and it will not let them submit it if it's not filled out completely. Okay. It will actually come back up and it'll highlight those areas in red that are not filled out completely. If they have a problem while filling out the application, there's our contact information on there. Simply pick up the phone, give us a call, and say, hey, this is what I'm running into, or shoot us an email. We have our phone numbers and email listed on there as well.
So what are the requirements?
Well, we have the minimum requirements listed on there, and I do ask that everybody go on and check it out, because you'll want to know right up front, do I qualify for putting you in for this? Because there's two things that will keep people out. The biggest things that we see a lot of times will be that they're not a U.S. citizen because they're here on a working visa or what have you. And the other thing is the age restriction. And I get the question all the time, can we get a waiver on our age restriction? And we cannot, unfortunately. The reason being that is set up actually by Indiana Administrative Code through the Indiana legislative body. And it is set that you have to be a minimum of 21 by the time you graduate, and you cannot have reached your 40th birthday. The reason being, you have to have 25 years of service to be able to retire from the Indiana State Police, and we have a mandatory age 65 retirement date. So again, go on and look at the minimum requirements, but first and foremost, we mentioned this, you got to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be at least 21 years of age by appointment, which is the graduation academy date. Not have reached your 40th birthday when appointed. And again, that is the academy graduation date. You have to have a correctable vision of 20/50. We get a lot of questions on vision. Color blindness is not going to knock you out. That's another question we get quite often. You just have to have a 20/50 correctable vision. You have to possess a valid driver's license. I know that's a shock to some people. We have a lot of people apply that their driver's license are suspended. The other thing, we have a lot of people apply that have no idea that their driver's license are suspended.
They've forgotten a ticket somewhere.
Forgotten a ticket, or they had that crash. And
they didn't turn in their SR21.
Exactly. They didn't turn that in. Or the BMV sent the notification to the address on their driver's license. They didn't update that. They've moved 3 times. So, again, a lot of folks are like, wow, I'm suspended. I had no idea. You must have a high school diploma or GED. We did away with the college requirement on that. So, again, kind of open that up to everybody, give everyone an opportunity to come in. And this is a big one. We get a lot of questions on this. You must be willing to reside anywhere in the state of Indiana. With that being said, you got to understand there are no promises on where you're going to get appointed or assigned for your first district. Right. This administration has done a fantastic job on trying to put folks back where they want to go, but you have to understand at the end of the day, it comes down to where do we need folks. Not a lot of people are going to be jumping up and down, raising their hand, going and saying, I want to go to the toll road, especially if they're from the middle part or the southern part of the state. But you got to understand, if we need 10 troopers at the toll road, there's going to be 10 troopers out of that academy class that have to go to the toll road. It's just a fact. But with that being said, you can put in for a transfer when the very next class comes out. So it's not like you're there for the rest of your career. Usually about a year, then you can put in for that transfer.
And to reiterate and to make sure that people know, because I get questions on this, you have to be 21 by the time that you graduate from the academy. That's the time of appointment. If you start when you're 20, we've had people that can turn 21 in the academy and still... Absolutely.
We've had a handful of people, actually 20 years of age in the academy, turn 21 in the academy. Right now, our penciled-in start date for the academy is May the 7th. Okay. So you're probably looking around an October 20th, 25th, somewhere in there, graduation date. So if you're 20 years of age and you're going to turn 21 before mid-October, you should be good on this. And once the actual application is up on the website, we also put up a timeline, everything spelled out for you, and it tells you exactly when those events are going to take place as far as the selection process, academy start date, which again, right now it's penciled in for May the 7th, and a graduation date. And we're probably looking at around somewhere between October 20th and 25th.
Do we know a number that we're shooting for right now?
We do. We're going to try to hire 80 cadets for this academy. So that's another big benefit to applying with us. If you go to the local sheriff's department or the local town or city PD, they're probably not going to hire anywhere near 80 folks. Right. We have a lot of attrition rate just because, again, we run a class just about every year. So every year we have a lot of folks that are walking out the door with a retirement. So we're trying to backfill and fill those spots. So we are going to send 80 folks to this academy.
Well, again, you're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids. Sergeant Anthony Emery's here with me from the recruiting division, and we're talking about the upcoming application process for the Indiana State Police for 77th recruit class.
Yes, that sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Wow. Especially remembering what my number was when I came through. But this is exciting because it's good to know that we're going to get some more people out on the road. And if somebody has a questionable background, maybe they don't know, can they still fill out the process?
We tell everyone to apply, regardless. Go ahead and apply. Make us tell you no. Because, again, we get those questions all the time. Hey, I had this arrest when I was in high school. Will that keep me out? At the end of the day, I can't answer that.
Right.
Because that's going to go in for review to a panel. They will look at it, and they will make that determination. And some of the things that folks think that will kick them out, doesn't. And some folks apply thinking, oh, this will never be held against me, and it does. So again, I tell everyone, apply, make us tell you no.
What about what are you telling people? What's your information, or what would you say to a person about social media?
Oh, gosh. Well, as we know, this is the age of social media.
Yes.
If you do not want your mother seeing, or your grandmother seeing what you post, don't put it on there.
Yeah.
Because again, we are going to delve into your social media when it comes to the background check. We're going to come to your home, and we're going to open up all of your accounts with you sitting there, and we're going to go through it to see what you've got on there. So if you have those goofy pictures of in there of you drinking or saying things that you shouldn't be saying, that needs to come off. I tell everybody, when you're in an application process, probably the best thing you can do, and during your probationary period, close down all your social media accounts. We've actually had people get kicked out of the process. We've had people on our agency, troopers, be fired because of things that they posted on social media. So again, social media is a great thing. I enjoy it. I get on a look. I kind of creep on my kids to see what they're doing. That's how I know what they're doing. But again, it can also be a huge detriment to your possible employment with the Indiana State Police.
And I think that's good to know, because if you do get hired, you do have your personal life, but you're in a glass house.
Yes.
And you're going to be looked at by the public of what you're posting and what you're putting out there from then on for the next 25 plus years.
And for all you young people out there, whether you're in high school or college, start making good decisions now, because we're going to look at things, what you've done and how long it's been in the last 3 to 5 years for drinking and things like that, marijuana use. But we're going to look at everything all the way back. You're going to get phone calls from school teachers and from neighbors you haven't seen in years going, hey, the state police were just here asking about you. But start making those good decisions. Buzz driving, drinking driving, Uber's out there, use it. Taxi cabs, walk, ride a bicycle, whatever you got to do, but don't drink and drive or buzzed and drive. That's a big question on the polygraph as well. And marijuana use, stay away from it.
So what is the process? How does that go? What's the first thing that they do?
The very first thing you do, you're going to put the application in, and then you're going to be invited for a written exam. Everybody's going to come in. They're going to take the same written test, and it's a sliding scale on the written test. What we'll do is basically graded on a curve. We'll look and see. And so that minimum cutoff will slide on a scale, who we're going to invite. From the written exam, you're going to go to the physical agility test, which will be at the ILEA in Plainfield, Indiana. All this information is also on the website. You can find this.
So the requirements for the physical agility test are going to be on
there. They're going to be on there listed as well.
It's not going to be a surprise when you show up.
No, it's not. And they're even going to show you the proper way of doing it. There's pictures and text telling you exactly what you need to do. And I believe they even got some links to some videos to show you how to properly do that. From the physical agility test, you're going to go right into the oral interview. And again, there's some information on the website to help you out with that as well. And from there, you'll go to the polygraph exam, which is not fun. We've all been through it. Yeah. I tell everybody we're not looking for perfect people. We're looking for honest people. So go in there and be an open book, be honest. If you go in there and withhold information, you're guaranteed not to continue. Go in there and just tell everything, put it out on the table, and let them make the decision based on that.
I know one of the things that you spoke to me about before on the physical agility is some people, they run and then they'll wait a while and they'll go out the next day and do push-ups or sit-ups, but this is all done back to back. You need to be able to do that back to back.
You are going to start that morning. We'll run 3 sessions a day. You're going to start and go from one event to the next event. There's not a lot of recovery time,
right?
So you need to prepare yourself for that as well.
Yeah, because that's kind of knocks a lot of people out of there. They think that they're going to have a downtime to be able to recover and come back to that, and that's probably not going to happen.
Right. And make sure that you're training well above our minimum standards. The minimum standards, everyone who gets that gets to continue. However, you are ranked and scored against everyone there. You're competing for a job. So you will be ranked and scored, and that plays a large, significant role in your final placement on our hiring list.
Talking about competing for a job, dress. Do you guys look at that?
Oh, gosh, yes. Dress for success. Dress for the position that you're applying for. And we'll give tips on that throughout the orientation, throughout the application process. We'll tell folks, come in there and dress for success. We're going to give you specific instructions for every phase on how you should be dressed. Folks come in, though, and they just don't pay attention or they don't care. I don't know what it is. We've had folks come in blue jeans for an interview. Not acceptable with us, because that is one of these scoring points that you're going to get.
Well, even with our ride-along program, we require people to be dressed up, and so for definitely somebody we're going to hire, we're going to have them looking good.
Absolutely.
Well, Anthony, I appreciate you coming in again today and talking about the application process. It's very exciting, hiring 80 people, so if you're interested, go to that website again. Easiest way, like we talked about, Indiana State Police in your favorite search engine, and go for it.
Absolutely, and spread the word. Everybody knows somebody that would be interested in working for the Indiana State Police.
Well, again, you've been listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. Make sure you go to that application process and get your app in as soon as possible. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week. The Roadshow is out.